We're here at Storeworks with Kim Anglis, who's going to show us how she put together a jewelry display from top to bottom. Jewelry's become a big part of the giftware industry right now, and I'm certain that the tips you're going to share with us are going to be invaluable to both exhibitors and retailers, because merchandising jewelry is probably very new to them. So what's the first step?
Well, in this case, we've decided to, we're working with a nature theme, and so we're going to add in a beautiful placemat here that's very neutral. It's black and white, almost like a black and white photograph with a beautiful skeletal leaf pattern. Very strong contrast here. Then I'm going to bring in our risers. We're trying to figure out a way to get the jewelry flat, from being too flat, up into columns.
And now the interesting thing about these risers is that they're actually candle holders. So it goes back to what you were saying. They are for sale.
Yep.
And you don't have to go out.
It's okay that we don't know that they're candle holders. You can certainly tell people, and they find that very interesting. We've chosen a jewelry designer who works from inspiration from nature, and we have small leaf motifs that kind of show up on this jewelry. I'm tipping this just to face out to the, rather than flip it this way, I'm making sure that it's facing out to the viewer who's looking at the showcase. And I'm trying to keep my groupings very, very tight, and just kind of build out almost like a spilling motif, or kind of a very, very conscious of direction.
Now, the other interesting thing you were saying is this style of displaying jewelry is something that you refer to in the trade as boutiquing. Mm-hmm. So boutiquing would be the direct opposite of a more formulaic display where things are lined up. And I found it interesting that you were saying that type of display tends to denote
a less expensive item, perhaps?
Yes,
yeah. It's more like considered a mass merchandising, a shop that might be a category killer or something, where every chain is displayed and it's all about choosing that chain. This is something that's handmade. It's a little unusual, so we want it to feel a little more special. It might be a higher priced item as well, so we would definitely use a boutiquing kind of strategy such as this for displaying in a small store or an expensive.
Right. Another thing you were saying with jewelry is it is finicky.
Oh yes. I've preset some of these things before I place them, and I've kind of very quickly shown you how to present it. But I would say that whoever's doing the displays needs to definitely earmark a chunk of time, to really spend time and make it look amazing.
Because if they don't,
it'll look very chaotic, very messy.
Okay. All right.
And then there was something else that we were talking about that was tags, how to hide and deal with price tags. And I was just saying if you can use a very small one, because you don't want to use a white tag that would show up and detract from the jewelry, if it can be tucked under the item or a small sticker on the back of the item, maybe with a thread that matches your base. There's little tags available that are clear. If you were working off white, you probably want worth of work with a white tag.
Your piece of advice in regards to pricing would be to have the pricing on the back of the piece rather than obscure the boutique setting with tags everywhere.
If at all possible. Not always possible, but certainly if at all possible. So, for instance, this might be the perfect place to put a price tag on the closure, which we're trying to hide anyways. It's not really that interesting to the viewer. Perfect. So I'm going to just tuck it behind my display here.
Great. So this display came together quite quickly.
Yes, and in reality, it would take a lot of time. Our display stylist, Lisa Morris-Smith, actually took quite a bit of time to sort of just group the color groupings and really think about where to position each group in the showcase. So it's wise to set aside a proper amount of time, just not to toss it in. And then if there's different people coming in each day, sometimes we've taken Polaroid shots if we've had our stylists come in. And that way they know enough to put it back in the right place. This is what it looked like. We're aiming for this.
Which is a great tip for retailers and exhibitors, because as you were saying, jewelry is a high service item. You are going to be picking out of the display. If staff have a Polaroid to refer to.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is really how it should kind of all go back together. Otherwise it does look like vegetable soup or whatever. Okay.
Remember, when it comes to product displays and merchandising, successfully engaging the customer is the key to effective selling. A great visual display gets them excited and involved with the product, provides a context in which they can view and interact with it, and may even answer some of their questions about it. To stay on top of what's new in product trends and merchandising, be sure to visit Storeworks at the next CGTA gift show so you too can start showing off in style.